Well, now that fake sequel month's over, we can move from weird, obscure Italian movies to weird, obscure Italian movies.
There were some movies, terrible movies, movies so awful, no one would touch. Then came a Matthew, sad little Matthew. Matthew decided these movies to watch. For every good movie, there's at least 10 bad. Matthew gonna drag himself through the crap to find the worst ones there are to be had.
Today's episode, 2019 after the fall of New York.
Happy 2020, Internet! I know it's been 2020 for over a month now, but this is the first chance I've had to talk about this. So let's look at a period piece set in the distant past of 2019.
Mad Max the Road Warrior didn't invent the post-apocalyptic movie. Hell, it was a sequel to a post-apocalyptic movie. Although for some reason Road Warrior was released a lot of places before Mad Max. But it was clearly inspired by films like Bed Sitting Room, Planet of the Apes, and especially A Boy and His Dog. But it did open the floodgates to a shit ton of cheaply made and often hilarious post-apocalyptic movies. You got Hell Comes to Frogtown, Warriors of the Wasteland, She. But what Road Warrior did, kind of, invent, was post-apocalyptic car movies. Movies that are focused on the destruction of motor vehicles, and often have some plot associated with that. And while a lot of movies are Road Warrior inspired, but not necessarily rip-offs, a lot of Italian movies were straight up rip-offs. And even though Road Warrior was obviously set in Australia, a lot of them deliberately told audiences they were set in America, even though not a damn one of them was filmed here. Which brings us to 2019 after the fall of New York. This blatant Mad Max ripoff comes to us from Sergio Martino, going by the name Martin Dollman. Martino is perhaps best known for his infamous horror film Torso and the video nasty Mountain of the Cannibal Gods. And it's a bit of a nasties crossover since the film stars George Eastman, clearly not his real name, famous for his role as the Beast in Anthropophagus. The film was co-written by Ernesto Gastaldi, who weirdly has some good movies under his belt, specifically The 10th Victim and The Grand Duel, as well as Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America. The hell? The other writer, Gabriele Rossini, wrote one other film. This is a lopsided writing team. The film stars Michael Sopkiw, known for the MST3K feature Devilfish, and basically nothing else. I could probably rattle off other people and things they've been in, like this guy who was in Wolverine and Life Aquatic, but it's really no one you care about. Although the music was done by an Onion.
But I would like to credit one person, because today's episode is brought to you by my patrons over on Patreon, including Big Booty Judy. I am so glad that is the first name I have to read on screen. Thank you, Judy, for your patronage. And if you would like your name read in the show, consider checking out my Patreon in the description. And with that, let's see what New York looked like in the winter of 2019. Because it's after the fall. After the fall. Play the movie.
Oh good, even after New York falls, the Twin Towers are still standing. And man, they put effort into it, but this is still clearly a model. Now this black man is playing New York a sad eulogy.
Since the nuclear holocaust.
Oh, never mind, narration time.
Ugh, everyone knows the version with narration is the worst version. Where's 2019 after the fall of New York final cut? I might be confusing movies set in 2019.
So apparently, Africa, Asia, and Europe all teamed up and declared war on America. Possibly all of North America, but at the very least New York. This sounds suspiciously like some European, Chinese, globalists coming for our America freedom Alex Jones conspiracy, but go off, I guess.
Wait a minute, Italy's in Europe. Are they the bad guys in their own movie?
For nearly 15 years now, not one human child has been born.
So there are no kids? Shit, the nuclear wasteland sounds awesome.
New York City, a huge pile of waste and rubble.
Well, that's one prediction they got right.
And man, everyone looks like an action figure. They've even got the cool action figure weapons. So the Afro-Eurasian military is killing all the filthy New Yorkers, but they're gonna start in 6 minutes. So everyone's just gonna stand there and wait, instead of, like, ambushing them or something. And by kill New Yorkers, I guess they just meant break shit. They do flamethrower a guy, and get in a rail kill. Then we cut to the Nevada desert.
My favorite New York landmark.
Here they're having a Death Race 2000 style showdown. I guess it's only fair that Gastaldi gets to borrow from Death Race, since Death Race clearly borrowed from 10th Victim. And of course, everyone's got souped up Mad Max cars. Honestly, aesthetics is a good point I can give this movie. Everything looks cool as fuck. But oh no, this guy is pushing this car off a cliff. Is that good? You haven't introduced any of these characters. Who's who? I guess this guy's the good guy since he lived, but where did he come from? He just hops up out of nowhere, like he just decided to beat up the guys in his own car. This is Parsifal. Come on, it's like you want me to make fun of his name. And half the time it sounds like people are calling him Possible.
We request a meeting with Parsifal.
He's so good, he impaled a guy on a really blunt spike. And he wins some coins from this creepy fucking robot clown.
To the victor, long life and happiness. To the victor, long life and happiness.
Look, I got no beef with clowns, but the robot voice and how ungodly obnoxious it is just really get to me. I think he also wins a woman. I'm unclear.
But hey, take all the fucking you can get. It's not like you can get them pregnant anymore.
That thing back there was a cyborg, half man, half robot. I knew one once.
Thanks for introducing that so naturally. Kim Possible finds some guys dying of radiation and puts them out of their misery. But, he cocks a laser gun. Do you cock laser guns? And the woman rides off and is never seen again. And some scientists shoot Parasail with their Galaga tractor beam. But if he kills them, he gets 2 of him. And now we're in Alaska. Why is this movie named after New York? So the American government still exists in Alaska and is planning a counterstrike against the Eurasian Army. Although he calls it Pan-American.
And so is the Pan-American Confederacy.
So I guess Pan Am bought out the country? Doesn't surprise me, actually. So there's one fertile woman in all of New York, which is actually really similar to Hell Comes to Frogtown. But this movie did it first. Something it did not do first is the government needs this guy to go into dystopian New York and bring out an important person. I guess there's room in this Mad Max ripoff for an Escape from New York ripoff. At least he doesn't have an eye patch. And I spoke too soon, he's going with a robot wearing an eye patch. This is Ratchet and Clank. I don't think this guy's name is actually Clank, but that guy's name is Ratchet, and I forget the other guy's name. They know their way around New York and help Parsifal sneak in. Low speed, poorly choreographed fight scene. That's, a lot of this movie. Just fighting. But hey, at least this fight is wheelchair accessible. They come across some mutated New Yorkers killing rats because they're evil, flesh-eating rats.
Unrealistic. Everyone knows mutant rats in the sewers of New York are supposed to teach turtles ninjutsu.
And there's this one totally normal and kinda hot mutant girl. I wonder who the love interest will be. But the mutants want to kill a midget.
Just go with it.
So Parson Brown steps in to stop them, resulting in more fucking fighting. So the gang get taken hostage when the Eurasian bad guys show up. Recognizing the men aren't mutant New Yorkers, they take them prisoner. Again. So Clank rips out this guy's eyes. Meanwhile, a lady comes in to feel up pine soil. I'm really glad they let him keep his rock star headband even after taking his shirt. He reveals they were on the hunt for a fertile woman, and even points out the clean, not mutant-looking woman as the one they're looking for. Which is awfully presumptuous. She could have, like, mutant scales or shit under her clothes you just can't see. On the other hand, how is he ever supposed to identify the fertile woman? Did Pan Am give him a photo or something to detect her? I guess he's just supposed to guess. And in fact, the bad guys test her and declare she's sterile. She's not the fertile woman they're looking for. Anyway, he helps Clank break out, and I don't know what happened to Ratchet. He's just gone, I guess. They do rescue the girl, though.
Red alert. Red alert. Targets are in Sector 4.
Okay, see, this person's clearly just holding their nose to do that voice, and I was gonna hold my nose as like a joke, but I've been so stopped up the last week, I don't know if that joke would come across. And rescuing Clank did a lot of good because he's dead now. Oh, Ratchet. Where you been, man? Hey, and the little person shows up to help them escape. That's nice. And he's not alone. He takes them to a whole dwarf colony under the UN building, which seems like a setup for some dramatic irony. Like, yep, there's one fertile woman left, and she's a dwarf. What a twist!
What's your name? Shorty, what else?
Why would his name be Shorty if they're all the same size?
Anyway, the bad guys use dog whistles to hurt them, but at least the 3 leads are fine.
It's okay, you can take the wax out now.
What? I can't hear you because of the wax. And boy, those Italians don't fuck around when it comes to violence. They do fuck around when it comes to making sense, though. What was that? What just happened? Ooh, a knife crotch shot. That's pretty rare. Luckily, some mutant pirates show up and dispatch the army guys, and we get some hilariously awkward dialogue.
There is no Confederacy. No more, nowhere.
Wrong. The president sent us.
President of what?
And some of these guys are so ape-like, I'm surprised this line
Take your hands off her.
didn't end with "you damn dirty ape." But while they won't go all the way with their Planet of the Apes ripoff, they will absolutely steal a scene from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
But you gotta explain to me the house rules for a 1-on-1 fight.
It's crap about rules. We fight to the death, that's it.
Okay, Big Ape. When do we get the green light to start?
You got it. Go on.
Now, I want you to see the original.
Oh, no, not yet. Not until me and Harvey get the rules straightened out.
Rules? In a knife fight? No rules.
Well, if there ain't gonna be any rules, let's get the fight started. Someone count 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Come on, you didn't even try. And then, the fucking scene. So Shorty takes them all to the only fertile woman in the world. She's being held in a lab by a scientist who's dead.
Professor?
How is he dead? The movie doesn't say. It wasn't an attack because the girl's still there, so your guess is as good as mine. Her father, the dead scientist, put her in hibernation in a fallout shelter so she wouldn't be irradiated. And he was the only person on Earth who thought to do this. He had an escape plan to get out of New York, but never used it in the 15 years this war's been going on. I guess there's a bunch of security he can't get past, so the boys go to get some steel from a well-guarded dump, leaving the ape man and the love interest to watch the girl. The ape is clearly infatuated with the fertile woman, so that seems like a bad idea. Like, what's the girl gonna do to stop him? Oh, she didn't. Plus, wouldn't it be better to bring the strong man to carry the steel? Instead, Shorty distracts some army men while the other guys carry the heavy steel. Nah, see, it's like the Road Warrior stuff at the beginning, because parental advisory drives good. Luckily, those stupid, smelly Europeans spaced the spikes out just far enough to drive through, and Ape Man gets this crazy kill combo. Amazing what a single piece of steel can do. But Paramount Pictures gets mad at Ratchet because he's a robot. Dude, who cares? He helped you. He's a good robot. Are all robots bad or something? He's done nothing wrong. Well, he hadn't until he stabs the love interest. So now Parasocial can kill him.
Remember, long ago, a small step for man, a giant leap for mankind. You know what that leap is? Love. For you. For us. For mankind.
What? No, that's about landing on the moon. What are you talking about?
Anyway, he agrees to help Pan Am because he loves this girl. So he gets on the ship and is tasked with explaining the events to the fertile woman. No indication of whether or not the ape man made her pregnant. Also, shouldn't he be seated during the launch? And, wearing something other than his dirty leather jacket? Ah, well, the end.
So that's 2019 after the fall of New York. It's not bad.
I mean, it's got plenty of action, and they clearly put effort into the aesthetics. The story and acting lack a lot to be desired, though. And it's really in your face about what it's stealing from at any given moment. It's kinda fun, but nothing I think is a hidden gem. Honestly, I prefer Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yeah, but this one's about the past, and it's set in New York, which is like miles from where I am. I want something modern and something local. And I think I've got just the movie. So, if you liked this video, maybe check out the one I did on Ballistics X vs. Sever. And be sure to come back next time for more Matt's Fun Time Bad Movie Show.
For 2 hours we've been waiting in this crap.
I know.
Wake up, people! The Africans, the Asians, and the Europeans are all teaming up to nuke the fucking planet and turn us all into sterile ape people! That's not even an exaggeration. Like, if Alex Jones said that, I wouldn't be surprised.